My name is Sean Wilkerson and welcome to Hacker Eyes. Today's going to be the first video of a series where we're going to be looking at popular web browsers, specifically at their privacy settings. The first web browser we're going to be looking at is Internet Explorer. Some of you might be asking, why Internet Explorer? Well, because some of you are still using it. Microsoft's already end-of-lifed it. They've already replaced it. And yet, I know there's still some of you that are using this archaic beast. It is the single worst web browser that has ever been made. Ever. It ran as administrator for a very long time, so if somebody put together a bad web page, that web page could actually end up taking over your computer and just fill you up with all kinds of Trojans and viruses and malware and oh my. Internet Explorer has been around 20 years plus. This will be easier. Enter net right there. And there it is. They're going to try to make you go to Edge because Microsoft is done with Internet Explorer. All the security complaints, all the, I can't even, the myriad of bug fixes. There was security issues with Internet Explorer that would allow a secure lock to display, even if there is no hash. The file that was being sent, the cert that was being sent was 0 characters. There was nothing in it. And it would say, oh, we're secure. No. So, we're not doing Edge. That'll be another video. So let's take a look at the settings. Internet options. We're not going to be looking at security, though there are some things that should concern people. Let me see here. Just quick. Scroll. All this use TLS 1.0, 1.1. Those should be off. Those are bad. 1.2 should be your minimum. 1.3 should be the one you're hoping everybody's using. My sites use 1.3 with a fallback to 1.2. These are generations of security that basically they govern the communication. So transport layer security, TLS. And 1.0, 1.1 are just bug-ridden. They've been compromised in a whole bunch of different ways. Those should be off. That's the only security thing I'm going to be looking at for this. Let's go to privacy. We want to accept first-party cookies. A first-party cookie is a cookie from the domain name from the website you are actually visiting, an Amazon.com, a Newegg, or a whatever the site is. The cookie is from that site. A third-party cookie is usually done to track for marketing or what have you. We're going to tell it to prompt. This is Internet Explorer. We're telling it to prompt. Most modern browsers, which Internet Explorer is not one of, it is not a modern browser. Most modern browsers will automatically block third-party cookies to some degree. But I'm going to show you real quick another reason we'll leave Internet Explorer here in a minute. You always want to allow session cookies. A session cookie is basically when you go to the website, you hit enter, and their website appears. A session cookie will send a small text files to your web browser cache that says, we're assigning this person this key. It's an alphanumeric key, and it's randomly generated more often than not. And it means nothing. It's just a way for the website and the web browser to keep in touch and make sure that the information being transmitted is intended for that person, and they're not able to look at somebody else's, and that other person's not able to look at theirs. We've heard about some of this in the news recently. I think Verizon, I believe it was a couple of weeks ago, we got in some hot water because customers were able to go into the website, go to a certain area of the site, and see the information left from the previous user. This is 101. This stuff's been around for decades. There's no reason why that's not perfected. So anyway, you always want to allow the session cookies. If you don't allow the session cookies, some websites won't even load the front page. And if you click on something, it won't go to the next bit because it doesn't know who is doing that request. It's all keyed through that session. And if I were to real quick take you, I'm just grabbing another web browser real fast. I'm gonna go down to privacy policy. On my privacy policy, we actually show you what the session cookie is. And it tells you, can I disable it? We're not getting all that. For clarity, I want you to understand exactly what a session cookie is. Don't just take my word on it. This is a session cookie. This one is from Cloudflare. Cloudflare sent my website a identifier because I have an encrypted connection with Cloudflare. You're connecting through to my website through Cloudflare. And I'll leave all that explanation alone. Next one down is my session. This is the session cookie. This is all it is. A bunch of random letters and numbers. That's all a session cookie is. That's it in its entirety. Let's go back to the settings. So now you understand why you always want to accept a session cookie. Most modern browsers don't even ask you that because the vast majority of the web requires a session cookie for you to even get onto their front page and even start doing things. So that's it for privacy settings. That was their advanced privacy settings, and it was all about cookies. No. Turn on pop-up blocker. Yes, that way you don't get a flood from somebody's doing some malicious thing. They send you 100 web pages and it all pops up all over your screen and it puts all the stuff, then it starts transmitting bad things to you. That's why that initially was added, because they would put these storms of web pages. I mean, hammering your computer rather. So you block it. You almost don't see any websites using pop-ups anymore. That's almost a done thing. And private mode, disable toolbars and extensions basically when you're private browsing, it doesn't allow anything that you've added to the browser to keep working. Pop-up, this should be empty, shouldn't be in here. That's nice to know. Show notification bar when a pop-up is blocked. That way you can at least know somebody try to pop something up. Might be a first clue. Hey, get off this site. Things are bad about that. It doesn't matter. It's just a poor design on a web for a web page. So now that we're on content, this should be under privacy too. And for most browsers, I believe it's there or really close. Autocomplete. Browsing history. It's up to you. That's not really the point of this, because your browsing history, it is a part of your personal information, the sites you've looked at. Whether they're good sites, bad sites, accepted sites, not accepted, it doesn't matter. It's you went to toysrus.com or whatever before they went out of business and bought toys for your kids. Seems harmless enough. I can tell you stories how social engineers could use that, but that's not the point here. Favorites? Well, sometimes it's really nice to be able to get back to a website you've been at. Use Windows search? No. Turn that off. We have search engines. This is a modern invention. It just happened, we know, like 20 years ago. Search engines. I think Excite, I think, was the one I used way back in the day, and we've come up, and now Google people know, and DuckDuckGo, etc. These aren't the problem areas usually for personal information or privacy. These ones down here are like forms and searches. You don't want it to autofill forms. Yes, it makes it easier on you, but it's storing all that information. It's probably clear text in your computer. May not be a good idea. Username and passwords? No. Ask me for saving passwords. First off, don't ask. And second off, don't do it. I have now turned all three of those off. Don't store any of that information in your browser. Manage passwords. Web credentials, you don't have any web passwords. Windows certificates, this isn't something we do anymore. Yeah, not knowing what any of these are, but we'll just leave those alone. Now, the goal is to have no passwords here. No usernames, no passwords. Now, this key here, don't press it. Wait. Back away from the mouse. Once you press this, you're going to lose all the passwords that were saved, if you saved any, and everything that you've been doing in your web browser, your favorites. I'm going to click it. You're going to see everything it's going to remove or offer to remove. This is fresh install. We don't have anything. If you are going to move from one browser, from Internet Explorer to any other browser in the world, anything else pretty much, Opera, Safari, and I'm just naming them, not significant, Chrome, Firefox, Brave, any web browser, you would want to probably install that browser and see if it will import this information over. Now, that's my last choice for what you would be doing. I'd much prefer you install a clean browser with nothing in it, and then go watch the video that I've created or will be creating and releasing soon for that browser and how to get it ready for privacy stuff before you ever use it. That is the better way. And then we'll go from there. So delete autocomplete. It's going to, I don't want it preserving my favorites and website data. I want to delete all the temporary stuff, delete all the cookies, delete history, delete download history. This basically is supposed to, in theory and on paper, clean your web browser as if you'd never used it. Some browsers don't exactly do that so well, and I'm pretty sure this is one of those. So we're going to tell it delete. Now, feeds and sites, that's not even a thing anymore hardly. There again, we are dealing with a very out-of-date browser. I'm going to tell it to apply everything. I'm going to say okay. Now watch what happens. Now all of a sudden it's going to be coming up with a privacy alert. The website bing.com has requested to save a file on your computer called a cookie. And so if I say block cookie, now we got g.bing.com. Now we have advertising.com, bing.com again, g.bing, advertising. Is that it? Is that it? Now, if I take and I refresh this web page, close that. I'm just going to scroll. Move my mouse around and see. So we've done bing.com, g.bing.com, and advertising.com. And you know, I'm not clicking on anything. I'm just moving my mouse around because this is one of those pages they pull content from all over the internet. So let's go back in settings. Let's go over to content, I believe. Nope, privacy. This should say bing.com, g.bing.com, and advertising.com. Well, I find that interesting because we just told to block all of those, and those sites have not been listed. And so we'll give it a benefit of doubt. We're going to say okay and close this. I'm going to restart. Sometimes remember, Internet Explorer is part of the operating system. It's not a standalone piece of software. And tap restart. And then we're going to real quick fire up Internet Explorer and see if there's any changes. When you turn some of the stuff off or you reset it, it has you reboot the computer to establish those changes. Okay, so we're still telling, I said apply my decision to all cookies from this website. Okay, blockbing.com again, advertising.com again. Media.net, now we're getting new websites. Atwola, ATWOLA, block cookie. Widgets.outbrain, block cookie. Remember, we're only on one web page. We've only logged into one web page. We haven't done anything with the web page. These are all the third-party cookies that Microsoft's website is putting on your computer. So all these companies, Taboola, I don't know, RevJet or something like that, Yahoo, AdNexus, ADNXS. Are we done? Privacy, sites, and there they all are. Now we had to restart Windows or shut down, whichever way, to get Internet Explorer to acknowledge the settings we did, just for simple privacy things. That's a key thing. Remember that for Internet Explorer. The best thing is to stop using it if you are, uninstall it, etc., etc. As far as Internet Explorer goes, that's probably all the tightening as far as privacy we're going to do today. Really, it should be a non-issue. We should not even have to make this video, but there are those of you out there that are still using it. And if you're not, more likely a mom, a dad, a grandma, granddad, somebody in your life is still using this browser. If you found this video helpful, click the like. If you want to see what else we're going to be coming up with, hit subscribe because we've got all kinds of videos that are coming up. Right now, we're trying to lay a foundation. So don't miss the new content we've got coming. You have an ability to reach into places we can't. We don't know all of your friends and associates. You do. This video may not have been what you needed to hear. You're not using Internet Explorer anymore, but maybe somebody is. And this will help you help them. Support the channel. Share the channel. Get it out on social media. Talk about it. If there's anything else I forgot, put it in the comments. Or is there anything you'd like to see us make a video on? Put it in the comments.